Hello. Wow, somebody liked it already. I hadn't even said anything yet. Maybe that's the key. Maybe I just sit here and smile or something. I don't know. So, what are people up to at the moment? I just did some work in the basement, uploading pretty much the last of the pick a brick cup quantity that I had sorted out. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of pieces now. There's two pieces that I still have yet to work on. One was a window frame, curved with two panes in it. And I noticed at least one of them didn't have a pane. And from what I understand, they're normally sold separately. And so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with those. And then the other one is it's like a 1x2 slope plate, like really small slope that curves either right or left. And I've got both of them in the same container. So I have to very carefully go through and sort them. It's going to take some time. Wet UK, Andrew Horner. Well, hopefully it's not too wet. Hey, Evan, how's it going? You guys must be either getting ready to do your live stream or not doing it from what I had heard, perhaps. So I'm not sure what's up with that. Bricklink UK, hope you're doing well. How's the basement coming along? Just gone 8 p.m. here. Busy day. Weather not the best. No rain, just miserable. Well, I just, as I was mentioning, I just finished getting through the most of the backlog for the pick-a-brick cups that I have gotten. I have no idea exactly how many pick-a-brick cups because after a while I started dumping them off into Ziplocs, but then I would sort them because you get a bigger piece, you want to have smaller pieces in around it, but so I was trying to sort by piece ahead of time so that this stage that I just went through would be generally easier. I had a couple of snafus along the way. I was doing yellow because I was separating it by color. And so I was doing yellow and I had both 1x1 plate and cheese slopes. And so I was going into my file, like, okay, I already have one of those. Let me go grab it. I pulled the drawer, came back, dumped it in the drawer, but I dumped my 85 cheese slopes in with, I don't know, 700 1x1 plates. So I had to dump them out into a large thing and find my 85 cheese slopes. That was kind of a pain. And then there was another time where I thought I had all one piece in something, but it was the curved tile that's like the elongated circle, and then also the modified brick that's just basically a curved hump, which kind of looks the same if you look from the side. So I can see how that happened, how that ended up in the same container. So I had to then separate those, and I did a bunch by pulling some out and then pulling the bigger pieces out of my hand and dumping the rest in something else. And then once I got few enough in the container that I was, or in the tray that I was sorting, and then I started sliding left and right. But at the beginning, there's no room to even like slide because there's just too many of them. So I got those taken care of. But I tell you, the counting scale is a godsend. I am so glad I have that. And I'm not trusting it 100%. I generally, anything I use the counting scale for, I'm pulling off between 1 or 2 and like 10, depending upon how many of the piece I have and how big it is. The bigger the piece, I think the more accurate it's going to be. But there's a couple of pieces I have way too many of. The 1x1 tile, which is the quarter round, oh my gosh. There are 2 of them that I have multiple thousands of. I mean, there's other pieces I have multiple thousands of, but these 2 are the biggest offenders. But yeah, I'm getting my my part count up. I'm perhaps slightly inflated because of the pick a brick cup situation, but it gets a lot of stuff into the store. I've used a whole bunch more of the big drawers than I had before. I'm using pick a brick cups and a whole lot more of the shoebox containers. Those are starting to fill out the areas that I have for them quite nicely. So I'm very happy with how that's all going. I still think there's more of the large drawers than I probably need. So I think that may have been a guess error in what quantity distribution I was going to need of having both. But yeah. I see Evan is getting ready for his live stream. Yeah, because Paul had said that somebody had caught COVID, so I guess I wasn't sure if you guys were going to go ahead with it or not. Planned opening date. Well, at one point I was thinking beginning of September. So I'm thinking either halfway September or beginning of October. It's probably going to be more the beginning of October. I have a lot of back end stuff that I still have to do. I have to make sure my shipping stuff is all set up and all that, and make sure I have enough supplies on hand. I'd like to have a space set up for shipping. Um, that will probably happen next week. At least the space for the shipping. My carpenter is building a couple of things for me, and at least one of them will partially be able to be used for shipping. How much inventory do you have now, Doug, and lot count? Haven't checked in a few days. Well, as of a few minutes ago, when I finished what I was working on, it's a little over 215,000 pieces in it's like 1,800 lots. The lot count kind of is not great. Armor Brick, hello. I don't think I've seen your name before. Welcome. I could be wrong too. I'm not always the greatest of memory with names and that sort of thing. But yeah, so the lot count is not as good as it should be, but I think that will change. One of the things I also plan on doing is I'm going to try to do some used soon. I think I have plenty of more new to part out, but I need to do some work on the used just to get some of those drawers in use and that sort of thing. The problem you were having with the giveaway, why not 1 month before the giveaway so that you will pick the entrance from subscribers who have sent a message? Well, that's not a bad idea, but there is a flaw. You can be subscribed and I can't necessarily see it. There is such a thing as being publicly subscribed, but I guess you can subscribe and not have the ability to see it. So yeah, I mean, I could do something like that. I have a contest and go back through all the comments over a certain number of time in any video, but that's a lot of work for me. I don't want to do something quite that intensive. But yeah, we'll see. Might have some thoughts on that. I don't know. Let's see. Went through the roof quick. I'm assuming Pick-a-Brick has helped massively towards that. You must have added over 100,000 like this. Yeah. It's actually like 165,000 in Pick-a-Brick, and I probably still have a few hundred left to go from those problem parts. But yeah, I had probably on the order of 120 to 150 Pick-a-Brick cups, maybe even more. Is there a piece or lot goal before you open, or just when the back end stuff's ready? Mostly back end stuff. You know, I kind of want to make sure that I can deal with an order when it comes in. I'm actually probably going to still do a soft opening, which probably won't be announced. And it'll probably be more I'm going to pass out probably a passcode to a number of people that I want to kind of go in and see what they think, take a look around, make sure things. As it is now, you can't see parts or anything. You can just kind of see the store. And I think you'll probably see the terms and that kind of thing. So. Posts mostly common. I mean, what most stores grab from Pick-a-Brick are something quite unique to us. You know, most of the Pick-a-Brick is it's just large quantity of the same old, same old. I think there are some better pieces. A lot of the white should hopefully do okay, and of course, any of the light bluish gray and dark bluish gray I was able to get from Pick-a-Brick, that will generally be good stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm also concerned that I may need to adjust my pricing scheme, or I may need to learn how to implement adjusting prices through Brickstore, because I can see where that's kind of a slow point, and I wouldn't be able to react quickly to changes. So I'm generally trying to price at or a little bit above current. But then, you know, current is skewed by the higher amounts that some people are charging for for individual pieces. So that kind of sways the averages in current. But then if you look at last 6 months, then there's still outliers there where somebody paid for a 40-cent piece, somebody paid $5. So if enough quantity is sold, that's probably not going to affect the average that much, but there's still a little bit of skew there as well. Let's see. How are you finding Brickstore? Brickstore isn't bad. When it works well, it works amazingly well. I have some issues. Like there's been several times where I couldn't figure out what the part was just by, oh, it looks like a brick, and it's, put in the 2x2 or whatever, and it's just not finding it. So I'll go in with my camera phone and the camera on the phone and enlarge it up, and I'll get the part number, and I'll put the part number in the Brickstore, and it doesn't come up. But if I go to Bricklink and put in the part number, I'll find it. It's an alternate part number. If I put the base part number in, it comes in. So I'm like, why doesn't Brickstore recognize those alternate part numbers? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm pricing now at the current, or a little bit higher. Yeah, you got that. Pros and cons. Yeah, so the Brickstore, that was the one thing I didn't like. The other thing I do like is what the biggest time I've used Brickstore is I've done 2 functions with it. I've parted out sets, and that runs pretty well. But then I've also did all this pick-a-brick that I just went through. And when I had it bagged up, I sorted it relatively alphabetical by color. There's a few colors I got wrong, and so it was in the wrong spot. And so I color locked, and that worked really well. So that when I was looking for parts, and I'm like, oh, this is a modified plate, it's not showing any images of a modified plate that doesn't exist in that color. So that was kind of nice. And I think the one other thing that I had, because the one issue that I had was I had clips a couple of times, and I know that there's a lot of variance on the clips. And so when I looked up the clip and I chose it, I was like, well, is this the right one? Because it's the only one that I'm seeing. So I went to Bricklink, found the item, looked at the variance, and I was just like, okay. And there was a few cases where, I think I might not just be knowing how to see it, but if a part has multiple, now I was doing pick-a-brick, so it's new pieces. If I was doing through a large sort of used, and I ended up with 12 of these yellow 1x1 clips on the side or whatever, and I looked it up on Brickstore, I'm not sure that I would be seeing the right version. So I'm not sure if there's a way on Brickstore to see when there are different versions to make sure you're getting the right one or not. So that might be an issue. We'll see when I do used how bad that gets. If you want to choose the night mode, make it less straining on the eyes. I'm sure just to brick review on it. I haven't noticed a strain on my eyes too much. The only issue I do have too, again, this night mode might help with that, but white pieces, it's very difficult to see what the piece is. I will have to hover over it, and it gives me a pop out, and that'll sometimes help with the seeing what the piece is. Because when I've got a list of pieces, especially when I was going through colors, like with the white, I'm like, okay, I've got white. What piece is it that I'm looking at that I have to pull from this drawer, or that I don't have to pull from a drawer? I have to get it from the piles and then add it to a drawer to give it a number. James, good evening. Now the size of the pictures didn't seem too bad, and actually there's a picture that shows up right in Brickstore, but then there's a larger picture in the upper left corner, and I find that one's oftentimes a little easier to see, but not always. But yeah, so I feel like I'm getting some headway there as far as the piece count. The lot count could still improve greatly, but I'm adding in thousands of some of these pieces. It's just gonna shoot the lot count, the lot count in the foot for the piece count. So, but the lot count will improve dramatically when I start doing used, because I won't be able to pull thousands and thousands of the same piece. It's just not going to happen. No worries. Um, yeah, I mean, I'll keep playing around with it. I mean, I know that you can get add and delete columns. I'm just like, so far, I haven't customized too much of that. Matter of fact, I don't think I've customized anything along those lines. I'm just basically using it as it is. Yeah, yeah. Those pick the larger picture in the corner helps. But yeah, I mean, it seems like pretty decent. I again the alternate part numbers. It really I don't understand why it wouldn't come up. I mean, I go to Bricklink and I pop the number and it pops up with the right item, shows me that it's an alternate part number, and it shows me what the real part number is. So why I don't know. Lockdown is always a challenge, especially as order will start to come in for you. Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of these pick-a-rick parts, I don't think any one person's going to buy me out of unless they just really have a hankering to have all of like a certain piece or something like that. I don't know. Let's see. Also, Doug, I'm sure you are aware by now. Color lock, massive time saver. I mainly use this for heads or fig parts. Yeah, I used the color lock when I was doing the pick-a-rick. Actually, I think I mentioned it a few minutes ago, where basically I sorted out the pick-a-brick cups because they're all in Ziplocs for the most part, and then I organized them roughly by color in alphabetical order. Now I made some mistakes because I thought something was one color and it wasn't, and that kind of thing. And also that here's another little thing I have with Brick Store is sometimes the colors don't come in an alphabetical order that I would expect. It's minor, but like red and reddish brown. You'd think red would be first, but then sometimes I think it's reddish brown, or maybe it's Bricklink that changes the order. I'm not 100% sure. I have to double check. There's been a couple of strange alphabetical color things that I've noticed. But so I color locked the pieces when I was doing the pick a brick cups, and then as I was doing each one, I'd set it to the right color. And then when I was searching for what the piece was, it wasn't showing me pieces that weren't available in that color, and that helped a little bit for sure. First thing I learned off my own back before finding further tips on YouTube. Great time. Yep. I mean, that'll come in handy more when I get into used too, I think. Um, I liked, there's a couple other things like it seemed like if you used all pieces and then you typed in the search bar what you were looking for, you got a lot of like strange hits. And I wasn't sure how to fix that. Like, I was looking for like 1x2x5 brick, the tall things. And I put 1x2x5, and I got stuff that I'm pretty sure wasn't 1x2x5. So it might be looking for each thing separately. And because you have to put the spaces by the 1 space X space 1 or space 2 space X space 5, I don't know if it's looking for each letter or number individually, which is just weird. But yeah, I'm learning certain tricks to find certain pieces. Like there's that, it's a 1x1 round plate with a hole in the middle, but it's got the flower petals on the side. And it's like, if I look under plant, it's not there, or it didn't seem to be. But when I looked under 1x1 plate round, wasn't there. But if I put in petals, I can find it. So I'm like, well, okay. Using star for specific with blue hand smile. Oh, this is also a great time to say, oh, get your knowledge up more to certain pieces. I was not aware of that. I'm assuming it's like quotation marks in Google or something like that. Just you're looking for that exact string. And like I was looking for like the ice cream cone topper piece because I have some of that in white from Pick a Brick. So I typed in ice for figuring ice cream, and it'll be a pretty quick. Nope, because I got tons of police listings. I'm like, really? Thanks for the police listings when I was looking for ice. It's just one of those things. Slowly I'll pick different things up like that. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. I think there's just, there's probably several ways to find almost anything. Because sometimes I would go in and search by, what the part is, and learning how they have subcategories, like the brackets. That was a brilliant thing. Once I realized that they're calling these things brackets, I'm like, oh, well, just look up bracket. Convenience source the other day with gold police, and it bring it up instantly. Well, there you go. Yeah, you just have to know, what they're calling things, and that's the other thing too. Is sometimes you might call it one thing, and it's actually called something else. Yeah. So I'm assuming Brickstore is still being supported. I wonder. I should probably look into if there's a way to add suggestions because I think those alternate part numbers would help. Because I mean, each time I ran into that, I had to then go to Bricklink, pull up the part, pull the original part number, and then go back to Brickstore. It just seems like an extra step when the information has to be available somehow. I mean, all the rest of the information was gotten somehow. It's like I can't see why that wouldn't be. Okay. Steve. As long as it's not the Minecraft Steve, because I don't think I'd get as good of an answer out of him. No, Brick Freedom, yeah. I mean, there's nothing stopping them both being named Steve, too. I have no idea. Oh, when you find the part, the alternate should be there, too. Well, yeah, but when I looked up, so the issue was is I was going through pick a brick cups to add to inventory, and I couldn't track down a part. I didn't know what it was called or anything like that. So I'm like, oh, okay, I just go to the part, find the part number, found the part number, put it in Brickstore, didn't show up. So then I went to Bricklink with the part number that's on the part, put it in, found it because it's listed as an alternate part, but then this other part number was the one that Brickstore recognized. And I just think that's an extra step that doesn't need to be there. There's got to be more than four types of the plate one by one with clip. Well, no, I think maybe there's not because I mean, I think the vertical clip is, I think that's not called a plate, it's called a tile. I don't understand that. Maybe because it doesn't have a stud. I don't know. Something else I noticed on Brick Freedom, or not Brick Store, I didn't like when I just put in tile. When I set it to tile, all the pictures looked very similar because I think they're probably pulling pictures from Bricklink, and it's like depending upon the size of what you're looking at, a 1x4 tile could look very much like a 1x3 or a 1x6 or even a 2x4 or it just I kind of had to hover over the picture like, yeah, that's the one I want. Not sure how to fix that. Ugh. I'm gonna grab some containers over here. I'll be right back. Oh, actually, I didn't leave. The camera followed me. Uh, change the screen to photos, and depending on your site, you can zoom in a lot. It makes it so much easier to see the parts apart from each other. So you're talking about on Brickstore, you can change the images to photos. Interesting. Because I have to play with that a little bit. So this is just more of the minifigure parts that I got in those two minifigure lots. I think I've already picked out most of the actual figures. I'm just gonna kind of poke through this a little bit, and I'll hold up stuff that looks interesting, and I'll probably pull out stuff that's not minifigure parts, like the little plant. I'll get you a message over on Discord, or maybe James could help me out here. He's the man for this stuff. He's my personal stuff by stepper. Well, at this point, it's not. Nothing has been terribly critical. Damn, I picked that figure up twice. Okay. Kind of like the torso on this guy. I wonder if he's like one of the trolls or goblins or something from one of the castle sets, because he's got the green hands, the sand green hands. Troll warrior. There you go. Let's see. If you not use Brick Owl for identification, I find stuff easily on there, and pictures are good. No, I haven't. I have. My name is reserved on Brick Owl, but I have not used it at all. I've never bought anything on Brick Owl. And at this point, once I open my store, it's not going to be Brick Owl yet. I want to learn one thing before I fold the other into it. Put that to the camera again. Hang on a sec. This guy. Yeah. Well, not this one because he has no head, but yeah. That's what most of this stuff is figure parts and like torsos, legs, but no heads. The headless limited edition version, I don't know. And then there's stuff like this. It's like this one has nougat hands, I believe, which is not common, and it's like got a dark red torso with like maybe some sort of a robe pattern or something. That's coming across so wonderfully. My sarcasm is great. I do plan on what I'd like to do is once I start doing live streams from the basement, but I'd like to do that at some point. I'm going to try to get a second camera that I can use and put it in like a fixed, maybe vertical location. So I can just like put the figure underneath it and it automatically is focused where I want it to be. And I think that might be helpful. So yeah, basically figure parts and like figure accessories are going over there. But look, here's a red 2x4 brick I found in there. And I was like, that's not a figure part. So that gets pulled out. I mean, I guess these are accessory type items, but and then here we've got a pumpkin face on a little figurehead with a carrot stem sticking out of it. Kind of a weird thing. So what are our people up to today? Other than watching a stream that I'm doing that may or may not be considered boring by some. Not looking forward to minifigure parts in some ways. The quality control on them is going to be time consuming, and just identifying them is not going to be a quick thing either. Picking orders for Monday. Where are you located, James? If you don't mind my asking. You can be pretty generic if you want. I mean, if you say Earth, it doesn't help me much, but you know, you're more than welcome to say that. UK, I see. We have a holiday here on Monday, so there'd be no shipping for us. See, now here, this is an old piece. It's the classic Smile minifigure with the solid stud. So there you go. It's just, and I'd say the Smile is in pretty good shape. Just an old piece. By all means, you don't have to answer, but what's your background? I own a construction groundworks company and am thankfully in a position where I only go in for meetings, check up with clients, etc. Well, yeah, if you own the place and you got enough people doing stuff, that's great. I worked for about 20 years in book retail, all sorts of different levels for 2 different companies. Initially worked for B. Dalton, and then worked for Borders after that. Neither one exists anymore, although B. Dalton semi-exists because it was a part of Barnes & Noble. Well, yeah. And then Borders went under back around 2010, 2011. I was not working for them up until the end. They had let me go about a year before in a restructuring move. And I got a nice severance package out of that, plus unemployment. And then like a year later, the entire company went under and those people did not get severance packages. So I'm very sad to see the company close. I loved working there. If they were still open, I'd probably considerably perhaps still be working there. But yeah, there was a lot of things I think they did wrong. So that's kind of a big part of my background. I mean, I've worked a couple other jobs since then, but then also I was selling for myself online since then on Amazon and eBay. And I'm probably going to go back to both, although Amazon is probably going to be different. And what I'm thinking I might do with Amazon is both of them, I still have my inventory. They've been sitting there dormant for 3 years because I haven't been doing it for 3 years because I had a lot of family stuff come up that I've had to deal with. But it's a rubber band. But yeah, Amazon has changed the way they do things drastically since then. So I'm not sure that I would like the way they're doing things now. And so I may not go back to them the way I was. I was ungated for Lego though. So I could see doing that, especially with a lot of the older sets that have higher value that I have. So yeah, that's definitely something that's I'm thinking about. And is there's a high possibility that I'll do something along those lines. Where my income comes from, and that's why I can spend X amount on Lego and other bits, and on the property ladder, which helps. I sold a couple of homes over the years. Stop that. 2, and my wife owns 2 also. Well, there you go. It probably helps to diversify things if you're not the only owner of all the homes, that's for sure. But yeah, that's kind of thing in a nutshell where I'm coming from. I think that's not a Lego baseball bat. It does not look quite Lego to me. I wonder if I can mute that server. I keep getting updates from a couple of Bricklink, or not Bricklink, a couple of Discord servers, and I'm like, stop that. Mainly because it blocks the chat. Me and James live under 2 hours apart from each other. He's my nearest competition. There's nobody that has a Bricklink store closer to you? Are you sure? I was surprised at how many Bricklink stores there are around. So yeah. See, this head has seen better days. It's worn, and then the bottom edge there's a big crack. So yeah, that'll get sorted out pretty quickly when we get to that. I'm not actually doing that right now. I'm just kind of basically sorting out figure, non-figure, checking to see if there's anything cool to show you guys, which there's not a lot of. And then pulling out stuff that's not figure or figure accessories because that would go in with regular parts. Oh, look, another spider. I have a bunch of those from Pick-a-Brick that are in my store now. Yeah, I know of at least 2 or 3 other Bricklink sellers close to me. And one of them has a YouTube channel. Not as far as I'm aware. There's only 1,400 across England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Only 200 of them have over 100,000 cards. I might be mistaken last time I checked this. Oh, it's fine. I get it. It's not like I'm going to You don't see me going on the computer right now and checking to see how accurate it is. I guess I'm curious too if like there's only 200 have over 100,000 parts. Like, what's the top person? I mean, how many parts are you talking there? Here's an interesting. It looks like the torso and legs are correct. There's only one hand and no head, but it's different. It's got this kind of a nougaty body with like it looks like a flight suit or something. Maybe Star Wars. So many torsos without arms and so many arms without legs. It's horrible. Or not arms without legs, but arms without hands. No, I refuse. Here's another flower. Parts is irrelevant. Anyone can go and get pick-a-brick cups. Oh, there you go. So, if it doesn't matter that only 200 stores have over 100,000 parts, who has the most lots? Since apparently that's what's important. I mean, I don't know. Lot count equals sales. Yeah, but I'd be willing to guess that if you had somebody who had like 12 or 15,000 lots, but only one part each, they'd go down fast because the stuff would sell and then they wouldn't have it anymore. You know, it also depends on who you think your buyers are too, because I mean, there's different buyers. Some people want to build mocks of a snowy scene or a desert scene, so they want lots of white or tan pieces for sand. Okay, well, if you've got the rare one or two, and you've got like 3 or 4 of them, that's great. But if you don't have like a bunch of other tan or white colors, they're gonna be like, I'm gonna go to this other store that has a whole bunch of them. Let's see. I think the 12th or 13th largest store has the largest lot count too. There you go. So yeah, I found this. There's no legs for this guy, although I did see some silvery legs before, but they were short. Or no, these weren't them. Oh yeah, they were attached to somebody though. So yeah, this is an interesting looking figure. It's like I almost want to say flat silver. You got like the pauldron thing going on and black hands, and the head's double-sided as well. It's kind of cool. I mean, just a 1,000,000 part store won't necessarily do more sales than a 200,000 part store. Speaking of experience, and that's fine. But there's probably people out there that have a lot less lots and do fairly well. Matter of fact, I know somebody who runs a Bricklink store, and they started off. Oh, the bag's empty. They started off by parting out sets and that sort of thing, and then at this point, he has not parted out a set in probably 3 years, maybe 4, and he doesn't sell used. 120,000 part store here, and according to statistics, I had only one less sale than a top 10 store out of 1,400. That's good too. And it's like you're looking at when you look at lot count and part count, that has no bearing on price. I mean, somebody could have 1,000,000 parts and 20,000 lots and be 10 times the current price. They'll get a few sales, but they're not going to get a ton. Dubious. I don't think that's real hair. The red it's just off. It almost looks semi-translucent. But we'll stick it in there for now. We're not at the stage of that sort of thing. Huh. A trans clear baker's hat. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That's kind of cool. Well, that head looks like it might glow in the dark. Yep. So this head is a glow in the dark head. Now, is it really Lego? I think so, but it's hard to tell. And who knows if he's on the right torso or not, but luck count as everything. A balance of both, of course. 90% of sales comes from wanted lists. It's not necessarily best price. If you can fill more or all of someone's wanted list, you're getting the sale. Uh, yeah, I mean, again, I think there's a limit to, again, if you have 20,000 different lots, you actually have 20,000 lots, but you're pricing it like 10 or 20 times the current, you'll get sales, but you're not going to get as many. You're pricing yourself out of having the advantage of having 20,000 lots. I think. Oh, and of course that head is all chewed up. It looks like. Oh well. So yeah, I mean, it's trying to do two things at once, and it's not as easy as it might seem. The shipping that somebody might save by buying from one store, even at inflated prices, is lost if you're charging way too much. And there are certain Bricklink sellers that seem to think it's okay to charge tens of thousands of dollars for a single part. Well, I guess I wasted some time on non-deal breaker stuff then, and that's okay. All right, so this is weird to me. I mean, I maybe it's not intended, but it seems to me somebody didn't know how to put on a cape because they folded it and put both holes that were in it. Yeah, that's not a proper cape. Unless, well, maybe can I just drag it up? No, because it's no. They did it wrong. Ant parts uploaded aren't wasted time. Oh, any. Well, I don't know. I mean, I just did like 120 pick-a-brick cups. And if anybody can go buy a pick-a-brick cup, that sounds like it could be a waste of time. I don't think it was, but that's just my opinion. Oh, look. A non-Lego, non-figure piece. That's true. If it's not listed, it can't sell. Well, pretty sure that's not Lego too. Wow, two non-Lego pieces, and it's not really good. Oh, there's an inch. Wow, that okay. Now that's an interesting looking head. It's like a trans neon green. It looks like he might be dead. I don't know. Oh wow, actually finding some still complete figures. No idea if they're actually correct, but just some guy with a baseball hat. I don't know. This strikes me like it would be a world racer's. His face is kind of funny. Oh, look at the exaggerated features there on the face. Go ahead and get all the cups and have hundreds of thousands of parts. You won't be the only one doing it. True. Absolutely won't be. I think another advantage I have is the fact that I've been buying these pick and brick cups for 3+ years. So some of them, the parts haven't been available on pick a brick for quite some time. So I think that's probably a bonus for me. Glow in the dark cat, maybe? Yeah. Oh, no, it's a rat. Duh, it's a rat, not a cat, but it's glow-in-the-dark rat. That's kind of cool. All right, here's a one of the later Classic Space versions. It's got the diagonal chest color and then the smaller Classic Space logo. At least for the thicker brick cups. I mean, it's going to take some time to get everything else up and running. I mean, because at the moment I'm kind of the only person doing things, you know, any process I do takes longer. He's kind of cool. He looks complete. Don't know if everything is right. I mean, I'd say the torso and legs certainly could be right, along with the helmet, but I have no idea if the head is right. Just some red-haired, bearded, mustachioed dude. But older sets is a big help. You'll bring so many new condition parts that are harder to come by. I think you will not be able to handle the infant's orders. You get it first. Overall, first month not. Yeah, and that it could be overwhelming. Yes, I mean I am pricing higher, so there could be some of that that'll slow it down some too. And it's kind of one of the reasons I'm doing it. I don't want to have sales at a breakneck speed. Yeah, like and figure parts. I mean, when I get to it, it's just going to be this Herculean task. It's like another one of the exact same figure. Look at this. I got two identical figures. They must be super common. No, they're not. The torsos are a little different. And let's see, are the legs different? The legs look identical. And well, the head, they are double-sided. Let me turn him around. Let me see if he's the same head on this side. Nope, the heads are different too. So legs, helmet, and are different. So no. Have you got your hands on deck ready to help? I remember you mentioning your strategy future, but opening will be just you. It's difficult to know for sure. A lot of the people that will be helping me, it's more going to be like a as they have time kind of thing. I'm not. I don't think I'm going to have anybody as like a strict employee type idea right away. I mean, I'd like to, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And part of it is too is I need to kind of get some revenue flowing before I can actually really afford to do that on a large scale. I mean, so far I've been kind of like, here's some money for helping me out, thanks. But and it was like, you know, daughters of my friends, you know, 18, 17, 18, 21 or so ages. So it was, you know, easy for them to come in and give me a hand. I mean, they were people who put a lot of the stickers on the drawers for the stickering of the drawers. So very, very helpful. But, you know, in order for someone to help me like day in and day out, I need someone that can be here regularly. And I wouldn't even have to be every day, but I'd like to be able to say, okay, so you can be here Tuesdays and Thursdays and Sundays or whatever. You know, if it's going to change every week and I can't predict it and it comes down to like, oh, you know, here's where I'm going to be able to come this week and it's going to be different from last week and it'll be different from next week, it becomes less useful. Here and there type of help. I think you'll need someone to help right off the bat. I'm strapped in waiting for you to open. Go from 0 to 100 real fast. Yeah, and that's part of the whole thing. It's like I'm trying to do something that, to my knowledge, nobody has ever really done before. I mean, I know there's other people that have opened up with lots of parts. There was somebody on the Discord not that long ago. He just opened his store and he got like, you know, all these orders because he had like, I don't know, 250,000 parts or something like that. So, you know, that part's been done, and he must have enough storage for those parts. So, I mean, perhaps, but I had the feeling it sounded like he'd been making things for longer than I have. Now, I mean, I've had plans for a long time, but I really haven't started putting stuff in the store until, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. I could always go and look at my first Bricklink part out save file and see what date I saved it. But yeah, it's been, maybe 10 days to 2 weeks at most. I don't think the massive jump in parts is something that I'm going to be able to recreate. I'm also waiting for, like I said, my carpenter is making, that's got to be non-Lego, right? It's such a cheesy plastic. It just feels bad. I'm not even going to put that in there. I'm waiting for my carpenter to finish up a main table for me, like a desk type table. And then he's also doing a topper for the 6-foot table I have that'll have a lip. It's going to be flippable. So, and each side, the lip will be a different height. So I'll have like a shallower lip on one side and a higher lip on the other side. Just take like 2 people and I could flip it over, use the other side, just have options. And then also he's doing 2 sort station tables. They're basically tables that I had designed to set them up as a sort station. So yeah, we will see how that all works out. I'm hopeful, but he should have that stuff done early next week. I also have to work on making some space in the basement because there is definitely some space issues. There's too much of certain things just eating up space and doing me no good. So, and that bag is empty. How about that? Yeah. Let's see. What is this? This is just random pieces. So that's where this stuff can go. Here's something that I pulled out too. It looks like a crab droid type thing or something like that. I don't really know what that is. But it was neat enough that I decided to leave it together for the time being. Mainly because I'm not at that stage of pulling stuff apart. Let's see. Trevor's making bank view in your store before it's open. Definitely give us an update when it's done. Look forward to seeing progress. Yeah, he is. He's also the person who, him and his partner, did the siding on the house, replaced windows. They did the original demo on the basement because it wasn't all one large space. There was, believe it or not, 2 separate rooms in the basement. They weren't even connected rooms. One was in like one corner and one was in a different corner. And then there was basement space between them. And then they've done the deck and porch type work. And yeah, they've gotten a lot of money from me. A lot of money. But that's all right. Need to be done. But yeah, I'm trying to open at full speed ahead, so to speak, which is kind of why I want to take things slow. I want to make sure that I have everything is set up as best as possible. And that's also why I'll do that soft opening and I'll send out some codes to some people to go in and check it out and see if they can find any problems, that kind of thing. Probably like, maybe give them a little bit of a discount if they actually want to order something and go through the entire process. So what is this? Oh. Yeah, but there'll definitely be updates. No need to worry about that for sure. I'll be honest, I have not recorded a vlog segment for a day or 2 down there, but I was pushing the pick-a-brick stuff, and I just finished that just like maybe 20 minutes before I came up to do the stream. I was basically wanting to get it done. And so I'm not going. I'll go down and film something before I do more work down there at this point. Um, but yeah, I had the joys of a full phone I had to deal with before the last live stream, or not live, before the last vlog could go up. So I have to get in the habit of, once I upload something and it's up, I need to delete it from my phone. But yeah, that is kind of the plan at this point. And I haven't decided like what all I'm going to do for opening. If I'm going to do like, a big announcement like on YouTube or post it in different Discords, or if I'm just going to like unlock the doors and see what happens. I also haven't sent out wanted list notifications because I'm not open. That could be kind of amusing if I was to do that. Let's see here. Well, let's see if I can do something quick here. I'm curious. Curious enough. They do make a transparent clear chef's hat. It was only in 2 sets, but there was 4 of them in one of them. One of the sets is Build-A-Bob, SpongeBob SquarePants. There was 4 in that set. And there was 2 copies in a set called Heroic Heroes of the Deep, also a SpongeBob set. So, yeah, it's a fairly uncommon piece, I would say. That's kind of neat. That's what I was curious about. Oh. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what else I was going to plan on doing today. I mean, we're closing in on an hour, so maybe that's a good amount of time. Oh, here's a couple other things I found recently going through some bulk. I found this, the old 1x1 round plate on the sprue, one of them, and then in trans clear, which is a little harder to see. And then there's the trans blue, where I found both of them still on the sprue. I do believe there is a listing for that on Bricklink, so I will be leaving them on the sprue. I wonder if you can search by sprue on Brickstore. Yes, and that piece comes up. That's amazing. Ha! All right. Trans dark blue. There you go. It was in 4 sets. An international jet port, which looks like it's from the 70s. A basic building set, which may be from the 80s. A firefighting boat, which is one of the little floating boats. And a coastal cutter. Image is loading, but it doesn't seem to be loading. 91 on the cutter, 87 on the boat. Basic building set is 90, and the jetport is 90 as well. Okay, not nearly as old as I thought. So, yeah, even as old as recently as 91, they still had those coming on sprues sometimes. I'm here for however long. Family is in bed, wife snoring, and I'm awake, sorting through categories. Well, there you go. That's something to do for sure. But yeah, I'm always amused when I find these still on the sprue. I'm like, did you not build the set? Were you confused because they were connected to the sprue? I don't know. But it's also the only thing that comes up when you search for sprue on Bricklink or Brick Store. And it's not the only piece that's come like that. More recently, the wands, the Harry Potter wands come, the nice fancy wands. I think even the older ones too have a little sprue that they come with. I actually have a pile of the actual sprue pieces. I don't think those are sellable, but maybe on Bricklink, but I don't know. Oh, I take that back. There's, all right, hang on a sec. Let me unlock the color. Oh no, there's a bunch of sprue listings. I just had a color lock. All right, that's cool. And at least one piece that comes up, oh, it has a sprue mark. It's a chair with a sprue mark. So yeah, the chair comes listed with the sprue mark. There's the wands. Oh, the arrows. The harpoons. I guess they came with two on a sprue. Oh, the coins. That's right. I remember the coin. A lot of the circular ones with like the plumes. Uh, there's some with some like utensils and toys and or not toys, like different things like that. That's kind of cool though. See the note about the knives. It's funny because I uncolor color locked, so it should give me anything with sprue, and I don't see knives unless they're with something else on one of these other sprues. That there's the key. That just the coin. Oh, there they are. There's the knives. There you go. Why couldn't I see that first time through? I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of cool to find stuff like that. I imagine finding those knives on a sprue, especially the glow ones. I think those are really expensive. That would probably be pretty insane. I wonder, is there a separate price for that on Bricklink? Oh, I wonder. I wonder if I can look up sprue on Bricklink. I, in fact, can. Wow. Okay, so there are. That's interesting. Okay, so yeah, there are three people selling one each. They have the two glow in the dark knives on the sprue, and the lowest price you'll get those two for is $45.17. Somebody has one priced at $61.62, and somebody has one priced at $89.92. It has sold three times in new condition in the last 6 months: 26.87, 37.57, and 55.69. That's pretty varied right there, that's for sure. There you go. Interesting stuff. All right, what the heck? We'll try it. All right, well, I don't have to do this one. I know what it is already. It's a severely worn white classic space torso with almost not even the jet part visible, let alone the planet. We'll try again. All right, so going to Brick Store. We're going to set it to minifigure torso. Or wait a minute, torso assembly. We'll do the assembly because I have the full thing here. What's cheating? Setting it the minifigure torso? Well, if you're doing a bunch of torsos, wouldn't you do that? I mean, it just makes sense. All right, so let's see. All right, so that didn't work out so well. Maybe that's not the color it is. Hmm. All right, let's go away from color. Yeah, I mean, I just reached in and I can see the back of it, and I'm like, oh, here's a white torso. Let me grab it. Okay, so um, yeah. So is it not quotation marks? Is it the asterisk then? Because I'm using the quotation marks and it doesn't seem to be working. Let's see. Color lock first and then use keywords. Quotation marks is what you use. Maybe try another keyword or words. I usually start by using white arms or yellow hands, etc. Okay. Well, unfortunately, yeah, the torso I grabbed has one yellow and one nougaty hand, so I have a feeling those hands aren't original. Let's see what we can do here. All right, so color lock it first. I think it's dark bluish gray. Let's try that. Oh, yeah, there, I found it. There was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, looks like 7 choices. And it was the last one. That's kind of neat. It also was in a bunch of stuff. Very common torso. Interesting. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Here we go. Oh, this is the one. I apologize because I'm on my laptop. When I go to Brick Store, in order to see things, basically, I can't have both windows open. This is the torso I looked up. So dark bluish gray, and then I did scarf, and it came up with 7 listings. Not doing too bad, Ben. I to catch you up to speed, since you haven't been here, I almost completely finished my Pick a Brick Cup upload. The only reason I didn't quite finish is because the 2 pieces that I have left have some issues. There's actually not two pieces left. There's more. One is the curved white window housing, but it's got panes in it, or at least some of them have panes. So those need to get separated. And then I've got it's like a 1x2 slope. It's a tiny little slope. It's like a plate level, and I imagine it's like used for like Speed Champions fenders, like just sloping a little bit. And I've got it in right and left in the same bag. So instead of just like having even the same color, two different pieces, like wildly different pieces, like being able to separate them quickly, that's going to require, okay, orient with the flat part down, which, so that's going to take a lot more time. Sit down, okay, like some things. No, yeah. So I'm actually I might have somebody else, put somebody else on that. And it's like, I don't have a zillion of them. So yeah, I've got like large drawer unit drawers that I've pulled out that I've been using for that kind of thing. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to have somebody else to do. So I grabbed a minifigure head. It's one-sided. We'll see what we get up with here. Hang on. All right. So first of all, it's the color lock. Turn that off. Why am I not getting? Oh, scar. Yeah, get rid of scar. Huh. 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 It still only is showing me dark bluish gray, even though there we go. I had to hit other instead of all items. That was annoying. All right, so yellow, because it's a head. All right. And now, ooh. All right, let's try. Hmm. All right. Silver glasses. Wow, there's some that look similar, but is this one there? Yeah, there he is. How about that? Oh, but there's three next to each other that look identical. Why is this? All right, so one of them has a blocked open stud. Two of them have hollow studs. What is the difference between those two? Let's see. Oh, the eyebrows are a little different. Boy. Yeah. Even that, yeah. Okay. Cool. Oh, we got to catch up now. Oh, hi, Icy Flame. For one part side to put dash DU. What does that do or mean? I'm prepping my stuff for the Lego shop today. That's cool. Start with hollow stud, block, etc. Then check for facial hair, any distinct colors, mouth, whether it be frowning, smiling, etc. Scars, beard, stubble, and so on. If it's all, put minus BLO. With the Google Drive doc I'm in the middle of creating to share with everyone, it's a huge list of keywords for all big parts, accessories, utensils, etc. Well, that's a good idea. Block open, put minus H. Well, yeah, I need to get like a mini poster that I can print out for the different stud types, because as I remember when I researched this, um, well, yeah, but what kind of a keyword is haul or do or blow? I don't know. Minus dual. Oh, so you instead of typing the whole word dual, you can get away with part of the word. Okay. Um, but yeah, I think the head definitions, what they are and what they say they are, don't make sense to me. So I'm gonna have to. I need a printed list that shows images until I learn it. So yeah, we'll pull a random something else out. Let's see. Well, it's legs, maybe. Well, it's printed, so what the heck, right? You know? All right. All right. So now we're gonna change the color. All right. So I have a question. So when you're using Brickstore, and I had just searched for that head, um, I I had it on all items. I had filtered for scarf and silver. I've deleted those. Um, and it still just shows yellow on the right. I color lock it and it shows me yellow heads. I unlock the lock and it still only lists the yellow color. How do I get all the other colors back? Or because what I did before is I went over to the category list and clicked on other in parentheses and then it seemed to reset everything. But there's got to be a better way than that, right? Go to the drop down above it. I can swap to all colors rather than known colors. Click all colors. Okay, that'll help. I think these are dark tan legs. Yeah, I would say they're dark tan legs. And huh, look at that. It looks like it picked up the only match, although yeah, yeah, that's pretty impressive. There's only one dark tan legs that have a holster, and I chose the word holster, and all four of the sets they came in were from Indiana Jones. Well, no, it's four different Indiana Jones minifigures. Cool. Used, it's worth like $1. There you go. And of course, we'd have to go through QC to make sure it's eligible to be sold. All right, now I go back to stuff. Your cursor is clicked on a head that only shows in yellow regardless of color lock. I'm using the stream with the quality is really nice. I have the webcam. It is an OBSBot, OBSBOT, and they did a Kickstarter. And the interesting thing with it is it'll follow me. Like if I get up to go over here, it's going to follow me. Like, hi, camera, it follows me. So then, like, I came over here to get the totes, and here are the lids for the totes, and I walk back over, and then it goes, oh, you're coming back? We'll follow you over. So, I mean, I thought it was kind of neat, and so I got it. It was, I think, a Kickstarter, but I'm going to have to get something else for the basement when I start streaming down there because it doesn't, like, if I show something, like, here, is this, so here are the dark tan legs that I just looked up. And when I hold them up to the camera, you can kind of see them, but it really is focusing on me no matter what I do. And also the camera responds to hand signals. So if I hold my hand up, it starts doing things like I can get it to zoom and different things. I don't really know all that stuff, so I have to be careful. See, like right now, it's like following my hand or something, but there's the torso, the legs that I looked up. But I'd like to have another camera that I could like just slide the piece under somewhere, like, oh, here. And then it's looking down, so it's a lot easier to see what I'm showing. Yep. Oh, we have a cat behind me in the window. That's Pango. Hi, Pango. You're on camera. Say hello. Neither of the cats are particularly vocal. Sometimes, but not much. And so there are 3 people watching at the moment. I'll give the 3 of you a little preview of my vlog coming out next week. I had been storing some boxes of bulk Lego on top of like these built-in drawer units that are in one section of the living room, and the backside of the drawers is basically the staircase to the basement. So there's just like a flat top, it's almost like a counter there. So I had these boxes there, and there was 3 boxes wide, 2 high, and the cats loved sitting up on them. It's like I'd already taken all the bulk downstairs except for those because they like climbing up and sitting on them. So I just left them there. I'm like, I'm not going through them anytime soon. It doesn't matter. And the other night, Pango was running around like a crazy person, and he is now sitting in a box. Let's see if I can show this. No, you can't see it because these totes are in the way, I think. Yeah, he's just out of camera. There he is. He's in a box. But anyway, they were running around like crazy, and Pango managed to knock 2 of the boxes down into the basement staircase. So I had pieces from about halfway down and then filling the bottom. So that took a while to clean up. Serious question, is your pillow just full of thousands of studs? No, it is not. That would be uncomfortable, I think. I mean, if you had a lot of them, maybe it would kind of mold to your head somewhat, but I don't know. I actually, the pillow I have is like a cooling pillow. The material cools just in its natural state, and I like that better than like a normal pillow. But yeah, so they created this big mess. Out of the 6 boxes, there's only 2 still where they like sitting on them, and they're next to each other. They're not stacked anymore because they were 3 wide, stacked 2 high. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But I'll do something else for them at some point. How you doing there, bud? Where are you? Come here. Come here. Yeah. Do you see yourself on the screen? Probably not. Over here. Yeah, these 2 are 2 brothers. They're both mostly black. They both have white. Kiko has a little bit more white, but Kiko's also pretty skittish around most people. Although one person recently has been over a couple of times, and Kiko doesn't run when they come in. But there's like other times, like somebody just walks in the door and Kiko sees him, boom, he's gone. But hey, no, leave the plastic alone. This one likes chewing on plastic. I have to be careful. Mostly plastic bags and puff pack and bubble wrap and stuff, and he's going after it again. All right, bud. Scram. Then he runs when I like shake it at him. Yeah, they eat well. Although I hardly ever see either of them drinking. I assume they do. There's water always available. Yeah, it does work pretty well. If I move too quickly, I can sometimes lose it. But yeah. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I mean, I will probably continue to use this one for my streaming. Oh yeah. Here's something. There's some perhaps some experts in. Is this Lego? It's like rubber. There's like this really long thin bit, and then there's like this thing that looks like maybe it would stick into something else. I found it in a bulk lot. I have no idea. I just put it aside for the time being. 3 out of 3 people watching the stream have decided that the video quality is good. Well, that's good. Good to know. And I have a ring light right here. I'm sure you saw it when I walked over there, but I think that's helping with the lighting. Let me turn it off. You see the difference. So there's the lighting without the ring light on. Of course, I've got the windows to outside right behind me. I have no idea if it's from Hero Factory or not. I have no idea. So I don't mind running with the ring light on though. So what's this official hello from Romania? Oh, we're up to 4. Stage 10 years with that light off. Definitely helps the lighting. Great quality. Pretty sure non-Lego for that. I aged 10 years. So, okay. How old does that make me now? I think we did this before in a different stream, and you may have been here. So, yeah, I kind of thought it probably was, but I set it aside. I've got a tub this size of, is it Lego? I don't know. And then it's funny because there's stuff that I'm pretty sure is Lego that has gone into the tub but is now buried, that I became aware that it was Lego at a later point, and I haven't gone through and pulled it back out. I'm like, well, when I go through the tub, I'll know, oh yeah, that's Lego. So at some point. Yeah, early 50s. I think next year I can't say early 50s anymore. I'm going to have to say mid 50s. I don't know. It really depends how you define your categorizations. Yeah, plumes, got to be careful. Yeah, it's like apparently it was a friend's life jacket, and I'm not 100% sure where it got to. It might have got put in with the non-Lego, and it may have filtered down in because it was smaller. But I'll know now. Somebody told me on a stream that it was Lego, and I was like, really? Because it looks sort of like the regular Lego um, uh, life jacket, but it's much smaller because it's for the Friends figures. The Bricklink store is not open. Castle shields and plumes. Wow. Yeah, that sounds pretty unfortunate. No, it's just official. The store isn't open yet. I pushed over the last couple of days, and I got pretty much all of my pick-a-brick stuff entered in now, and so my part count is a little over 215,000 pieces at the moment, and it's like 1,800 lots. So the lot count is not great comparatively speaking, but because it was pick-a-brick parts, I was adding a lot of parts, and a fair number of them I already had in the store. So I had to consolidate them and sometimes decide what size storage it's going to and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, there's a lot of new pieces as well. I had a lot of fun doing it, and it's like each time I do a task, if I want to try to do it a bunch, so that I kind of like learn it a little bit, and so that when I don't do it for a little while and I can come back to it, I can still do it, but also be kind of efficient at it as well. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. All of a sudden now there's 5 people in here. I don't know what happened. It kind of exploded. It was like 3 people for a while. But yeah, that is kind of the status of things. Mid-month or perhaps the beginning of October, I'd like to go through and maybe work on some used. I mean, it's not going to be able to be all categories, but I have a number of categories that have already been washed after the sort. So then at that point, I could mold sort them, and then at that point, color, sort, and list. So it wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world. I am waiting for my carpenter. Early next week, I should have a big main table for me, and then a couple of sorting tables and a topper for my 6-foot table. Oh yeah, I'll do vlog content on pretty much anything. I haven't done a vlog recording in a day and a half because I was pushing to get all the pick-a-brick parts done. And I did one like at the very beginning, and I did one just a little bit in, but then I just got going and I just didn't do one for a while. So I'll do one at the end of it. And I think I'll probably walk the store aisles because there's a lot more. Almost a quarter of the large drawers are in use. Almost. So that's kind of exciting. So that 25% of the drawers that are large for in the areas that I had designated for new are in use. I still think I probably should have had either the combo drawer, instead of being a combo, should have been all large, or no, all small, or I should have had only one full unit of large, and then so now I have because I have two full units of large, a combo, and one full unit of small. So instead of doing small, combo, large, large, perhaps I should have done small, small, combo, large, or perhaps small, small, large, large. But I like the combo ones, but anyway. Let's see. How much is invested so far in a store? Wow. Yeah. The amount of money I've spent on buying inventory in used and bulk, pick a brick and that sort of thing, is really large. I'm not really at this point, people would say that, you don't make a profit until you pay off what you've invested. But since I didn't track it, and I think starting it when I opened a store, I'm going to try to better track that spending. But up to that point, I'm not going to worry so much about it. It's just basically like that's the spending I did beforehand, and then money I spent at the Lego store, online, through other new vendors, Target, Amazon, Walmart. I bought stuff from individuals, used, new stuff. It is a frighteningly large amount of money, and it's partially frighteningly large because I only have a vague idea of exactly how much it is. But yeah, it's definitely six figures. I don't think I hit seven, but I'm pretty sure I hit. It's over low six figures. I don't know at what point inside that six to just under seven it's going to be, but it's a lot. Yeah, I'm enjoying things so far, and I think that's part of the best thing is that I'm enjoying it. It wouldn't really do any good if I wasn't enjoying it. Yeah, Ben, it was a lot. I think a lot of that money too, because I was reporting it as money I'm spending for the store to my accountant. That's why like in 19 and 20 I didn't pay any taxes. And then when they did my 2021 taxes, they changed something. I didn't really understand exactly what they changed. And all of a sudden I had this really large tax bill. So that was kind of painful to pay. But yeah. Yeah, it was pretty large. I mean, it wasn't six figures large, but it was five figures. So yeah. And the more I think about it, I probably will lean towards October 1st as an open, because then I can start tracking things on like a solid month instead of like a partial month. Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. It was pretty painful and completely unexpected, completely out of the blue. So I mean, it would have been nice if I had had a heads up, like, we're going to we have to change how we're doing something, or we're going to, or whatever. I'm like, a heads up would have been nice. I mean, as it is, because of everything, I had to request more money out of my investment money to pay for it. And because of that, I couldn't get the money quickly enough to pay the bill by the due date that was set. And so because of that, I ended up, I'll have to pay a little bit of an extra penalty on that. They'll send me a bill for whatever the interest is on the amount that I didn't pay. It's not going to be a huge amount, but so yeah. Anybody else have any other questions or anything? I mean, we've been about 90 minutes in, not 90 to 100 minutes in. I can go for a bit longer. I do have probably a hard cutoff in a half an hour, but if it was shorter than that, that wouldn't be a problem either. I've got stuff going on tonight. There was 6 people here. Now there are 5. Somebody peeked in because they saw it listed somewhere and I'm not interested, which is fine. No, actually, I'm not gaming. Gaming is canceled this week, but I'm having dinner with a couple of friends, which is kind of fortuitous because it's not the same friends that I would game with. And so because they wanted to do dinner and because gaming was canceled, I was able to. Not that I could always choose to skip gaming too if I wanted to, but it just worked out this time. There is a gaming convention I'm considering going to in early October as well. Right now, 2 different D&D campaigns, actually. Yeah, I'm playing 2 different D&D campaigns. We basically, one group plays on Saturday every other week, and the other group plays on Saturday every other week in between. So I play in something every Saturday, generally speaking. Four orders this stream. Happy days. Another question. What's your favorite piece you've come across? For example, one of my favorite parts has to be anything expensive. Oh, well, okay. So as a kid, and I think still, I like the headlight brick. I can't really explain why I like the headlight brick, but I do. I know as a kid, I discovered you could put 4 of them in kind of a circle type pattern. They all fit together really nice. Slope 45 1x2. I'm not 100% sure if I know which one. Oh yeah, okay. A 1x2 brick with a 45-degree slope. Yeah. Yeah, the headlight brick is one I like. I like just the simple 1x1 round plate. I often used to call them dots. So sometimes I will probably slip and call them dots still. And there's other like there's a ladder piece. It's a 1x2 plate, and then it comes off the side and then goes down about 2 bricks, and it's like got these horizontal slats, and it looks like a ladder. And I first ran into that piece back in the early 80s in like old gray in some classic space sets. And it probably was 20, 25, 30 years before I realized that a minifigure, the toes to a minifigure fit in between there, and they would then stand on the ladder. I had no idea. Good night, assist official. Take care. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't have one of those ladders anywhere near, but yeah, it's just one of those things that I don't think I ever saw it on any of the box art, or if I did, I didn't remember it. And I never thought to try sticking his toes in there. You learn something every day. There's another piece. I could probably come up with what it's called fairly easily. Let's see. is okay. The slope curves 2x2 by 2/3 is kind of a neat piece. And the reason I say that is because I had a whole bunch of them a couple of times, and I noticed that they'll nest together back to back, or the two undersides together. Turn one 180 degrees, and then the outside is just like this curved thing. And I was wondering if you could do something with that, like maybe stack them and have some sort of a tiled floor that has like weird openings in it or something. I don't know. I think these pigs I bought were a bit of a bust. Oh, that's unfortunate. Maybe this week more vintage instructions than I know what to do with. Listed some the other day and gave up 50 plus years old. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I have a lot of instructions too. I've actually been known to just buy lots of instructions. I've got the 2 filing cabinets in the basement. I'm a little stuck at the moment though because of 2 things. One, they're blocked by lots of boxes of bulk and other Goodwill purchases that I've made. The plan is I will open them up on live streams once I'm live streaming down there. So they're blocking the filing cabinets. And then the other thing is I only ever had 1 key, and I'm not sure where it is, and they're all locked. The 2 of them I still have in the garage are locked. The 2 in the basement are locked. So yeah, I have a little bit of a situation with that. I'm not too worried about it yet because I'm not at the point of wanting to use it. Although the instructions that I am listing so far from part outs are going in totes, so I don't really like that. So, in shoebox type stuff, and actually larger than shoebox because some of them don't fit in the shoebox because they're larger, and I don't want them to curl in the shoebox. So it's just a pain. But yeah, 50-plus-year-old instruction books, that'd be cool. We're down to 3 people again. If there's no last questions, I'm probably going to call it here in a minute or 2. Thank you for stopping by, Ben and Brickland, UK. James, I think you guys might be the 3 that are still here. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think for a show, you're best doing what Ralph is doing and Pops, and basically they set aside stuff as they go through things, as opposed to listing everything. And so some of it's destined for shows. I have not done that yet, but hey, no problem. Thank you, James. Thanks, Brickland. And yeah, I'm not sure when the next one will be. I might try something a little different next week. We will see. Alrighty, guys. Thanks all. I'm going to end the stream. Take care, Ben, James, Brickland. I know at one point I knew what your name was, but I don't recall what it is at this point. So sorry about that. Oh, that kind of sucks. All right. Take care. Somebody just popped in, and I'm very sorry, but I'm heading out. So have a good night or good day, whichever is appropriate to your location. Wesley. Okay, Wesley. I'll try to remember that. It won't work. Take care.